Welcome to another edition of Plastic Models by a Regular Dude. Today's subject matter is going to be a recap of 2015 and what I've got coming up for 2016. As for my recap, I was able to complete three kits this year. In a minute I'll get some zoom action going here and show you the kits that I was able to complete. I also bought, I think I bought a total of 4 kits this last year. Five, 6. I've bought 6 kits. 2 of them are finished, 1's in progress, 3 are waiting to be built. First I'm going to talk about the ones that are waiting to be built, and those are probably in this order. I have to finish the Tamiya 1/25th scale Tiger 1 for that 70s build, sponsored by Tactical Jackalope on the YouTube Modelers channel. I need to finish that. I'm about probably 75% done. The construction's all done, and I've just now started the base layer of paint, so that'll be coming along pretty good. I also, after I finish that, then I'm going to finish the BF 109, which the 1/32nd scale Revell BF 109, which was stalled due to a lack of paint. I ran out of the gray paint for the underside and for some of the sides, so I'd wait for that to come in, and that's why I started the Tiger tank. So I have to finish those 2 models, and then I can start on the next ones. The first one I'm going to build, I believe, after I finish those, is going to be the Tamiya New Tool M4 A3 Easy 8 Sherman. It's a new tool kit. My son is building it right now, so I've been able to kind of look at how it's going together and stuff, and it's a nice kit. So this will be the next one I'm going to do. I've never been able to build an Easy 8 because when I was building back in the 80s, I don't think there were any good versions of this kit. There was an older Tamiya kit, I believe. There might have been some others, but I'd read some of the stuff. I just didn't want to mess with it. But this one's pretty nice. So this is the next one I'm going to build. Then, as kind of a nostalgia build for myself, I'm going to be building this recent rebox of the Monogram Panzer IV from the Monogram Armor series. This kit's very similar to this. I never built the actual Panzer IV, but I built some of the Stugs and some of the US armor that Monogram put out in the 70s. And this is basically, it's a rebox. It's the old tool Monogram kit, and somewhere in the mid 70s I think is when it was actually molded. So I'm going to be building this one. I realize that these are simple and probably very inaccurate kits compared to a lot of the modern stuff, but I'm building it for fun and just to show that an older kit, although it may be inadequate in a lot of ways, can still be made into a decent model. So I'm going to be building that one. That's going to be part of my I'm going to focus on the beginners, kind of my beginner series that I want to work on. Then after that, I've got the Tamiya Panther D new tool. Got this one last year, middle of last year, maybe. No, I think I got it in March or something. But anyway, I got this one. The only aftermarket, or the only extra stuff I got for it, was the photo etch kit for the grills, the grill covers, the screens. I guess there's an engine kit with maintenance crew that's available, and there's also the individual track kit from Tamiya. But I'm not going to get either one of those, just a photo etch. And this will be the next one I'll build after that. Then after that, after that, we'll see what else I get. So that is basically my recap and my future plans all in one segment. The recap: was able to build 3 kits, bought 5, and the kits I've got coming up. So that is the 2015 recap, stuff coming up for 2016. So I'm going to change my camera angle a little bit, and I'll show you the 3 kits that I was actually able to get completed this year. Okay, so the 3 kits I was able to complete are these in the order that I completed them. First, I had this awesome Hobby Boss TA 152. This kit here is what saved aircraft models for me. I'd built, aircraft models as a kid, and I didn't really care about them back then. And there were kits. I put them together. Generally, some of them I painted, some of them I didn't. I'd throw the decals on them and run around the house with them. Then later on, back in the 90s, mid 90s, I believe, I built the Monogram B-17 bomber, and it was, it was okay, but fit issues, raised panel lines, and all the filling and seams and all that kind of junk, I just didn't like it. It was just too much work. And I had bought this, and this one here, this one I built the year before last, and it turned out actually better than I thought it would. Oops. This P51 here, but it was an old kit, one of the old Pro Modeler kits, and the filling and all that kind of stuff, it just drives me crazy. I don't know, call me lazy, but when there's complex curves and swoops and stuff like that you have to fill, and I don't know, it just wasn't enjoyable to me, and that's why I do this hobby. And then I saw this, and I had read some reviews on it, and it sounded like a pretty good kit, and I thought, well, I'm going to give aircraft one more try, and I did, and I'm glad I did. I was able to buy this at a local hobby shop, which I was pretty stoked about, and I have to say that this thing saved aircraft for me. It went together flawlessly. I mean, everything fit together. There was very little seam work to do. The fuselage, there was no seam work to do. The way I assemble a fuselage, I pretty much eliminate the need for filling sometimes. But I mean, the spine of the aircraft right here, there was no. I mean, all I had to do was just take my X-Acto knife and just scrape the little bit of cement or melted plastic that oozed out when I clamped it together. That was it. I mean, it was perfect. The detail on it was really good. It fit together nicely. The decals were perfect. I mean, there were just no problem to put on. This is the first time I've camouflaged an aircraft. You can see the hopefully the green swirly pattern there, and then the gray swirly pattern there. And I sprayed this whole thing with my Pache single action siphon feed airbrush, and I was pretty stoked with the way it turned out. So turned out really well. This got me back into aircraft. I won't always build aircraft. It'll be mainly armor, but that saved aircraft for me. The next one after that was the Academy M3 Stuart Honey, and this one is the first one that I really went kind of gung-ho on weathering and chipping and all that kind of stuff. Generally I'm pretty restrained whenever it comes to weathering and chipping and battle damage and stuff, so I thought, I better give it a crack with this one. This one, it went together really well. It's got an interior. Don't know if you can see inside of there very well due to the light, but it does have an interior, rudimentary, but it's nice anyway. And whenever you look inside the vehicle, you can see. And you know, it went together really well. There was no fit issues. The one complaint I had about this, and I've heard it's kind of a common deal with the Academy kits, are the decals. Man, they were just really thick, and the side of the turret here and this band here on the fender, those are supposed to be decals. And with the rivets and so on, my foolproof method of decal installation that's always worked would not work with these decals. They were so thick and so uncooperative, so I just painted it. These decals, they worked fine because they were on a flat surface, so you know, there was no rivets or anything like that to deal with. Same with the identification numbers on the side. But you know, I like the way this one turned out. Really pleased with that one. So then, and this one you guys did see on the YouTube channel, was the Panzer Kampfwagen Mark IV, the old Tamiya kit. And this is the first Panzer Gray vehicle I did, and these are the first figures I've done in a really long time. And the figures actually turned out okay. They're just the stock figures that came with the kit, so they're old mold Tamiya figures, which aren't the best, but they turned out okay. And then the rest of the kit, I like the way it turned out. It was fun to put together, typical Tamiya, no fit issues. Cleanup was easy. You know, nothing bad to say about this kit at all. It was a lot of fun, and I like the way it turned out. So those are the 3 kits that I was able to complete in the year 2015. Okay, so that's it. That's my 2015 recap. 2016, what's coming up. Hope you liked seeing the kits, the 3 kits that I was able to complete this last year, and hopefully in the coming year, 2016, I'll be able to get a few more done. Kind of got my groove going, got my area set up the way I want, so shouldn't be an issue. Getting some paint problems figured out. So anyway, that's about it. 2015 recap, what's coming up in 2016. As always, thanks guys for watching my videos. Appreciate it. I really appreciate the comments. And you know, don't be afraid if you got any constructive criticism to throw it on there. I'm not easily offended. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching the videos, and I'll see you next time on Plastic Models by a Regular Dude.